Nation's capital on this Friday morning, Prime Minister Carney's long-anticipated first phase of nation-building projects has been unveiled. Some projects making the cut include a liquefied natural gas expansion project, a new nuclear project, and some mining expansions, all spanning from coast to coast to coast. And let's bring in CTV's Jeremie Charron for the latest on this. Jeremie, thanks for joining us. The Liberal caucus wrapping up in Edmonton today. The PM making these big promises of building big across the country. What's the reaction?
Yeah, I mean, lots of reaction, Roger, from industry and from premiers across the country, both, from those categories, if you will. Industry is supportive, of course. They like to see the buy-in. We've seen a lot of, positive reaction to this initial list. And for the most part, premiers have been pretty complimentary of the Prime Minister and his work to put out this initial list. And, even Alberta Premier Danielle Smith yesterday was, quite complimentary of the Prime Minister and spoke highly of the meeting she had with him the day prior, and asked Albertans to be patient due to the fact there was no pipeline on this initial list. But she expressed her understanding that it is possible that there will be a pipeline in the future on this list, and she expressed optimism when it came to what happens next. So even from a premier that has been pretty at times willing to criticize this government for its lack of connection, if you will, with Albertans. She seemed to be encouraged. So overwhelmingly, when it comes to premiers and industry, they have been supportive of this. But there has been some criticism, of course. When you look at the environment sector and when it comes to moving forward with green projects and things like that, environmentalists have been highly critical of what has happened here, specifically the LNG project. They, refute some of the claims that LNG is cleaner than, typical coal energy, saying that, capturing the energy and some of the processes that happen when it comes to LNG are still polluting and bad for the environment. And so environmentalists have been pretty critical. And, the Indigenous community has been pretty critical of this as well. Many coming out and saying that they have not seen enough consultation and feel as though things are being pushed forward too fast without enough conversation with Indigenous communities that will be impacted by some of these projects. So, we've seen kind of both sides of this. Some criticism, certainly, but also support from premiers and industry across the board.
All right, and the Prime Minister has also indicated that being more efficient doesn't cost much. Any indication on how much the government is willing to spend on these projects?
Yeah, the Prime Minister reluctant to share much of that information yesterday. He was asked, what kind of an investment this could be for the federal government. There's no question federal dollars will be involved in, a lot of these projects. Specific numbers are not clear yet. What the Prime Minister tried to say yesterday was that any federal investments that will be involved in these projects will be aimed to garner multiples of private investment on top of that. So basically, he's saying that he anticipates any investments the federal government is putting into these projects will pay back in great ways through private investments. So the idea is that they'll generate more private investment in these projects through some support federally, but no official number on any of these projects in terms of what kind of investment we can look at. Although it's important to point out, out of that list of 5, Roger, a lot of those projects are well underway already, have some funding already established, including federal funding in some of these projects. I can think of the Port of Montreal, where I believe, I'm just going off memory, but there are like hundreds of millions of federal dollars involved in that project or committed to that project already. So a lot of these projects are well underway. The approval processes were already well underway, some of the regulatory approvals. The federal government getting involved and pushing this to its major projects office is just going to expedite that process and try and help push these projects across the finish line a little bit faster.
Okay, Jeremie, thank you for that update.